जय राधा कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर जय राधा कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन हेमतीरवन चारी हेमतीरवन चारी हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम जय राम कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर हरि यशोदनंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवन तीरवन जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव हरे नाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरुदेव की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to ISKCON Seshadripuram Bhagavatam class and today's verse from Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 24th chapter and 32nd sloka. We'll share the screen. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 24th chapter. So we all know 3rd chapter is status quo. Status quo means government is passing some amendment and then coming and checking whether those amendments are in place. And the chapter 24th is the renunciation of Kardama Muni. So under renunciation of Kardama Muni, we are going to look into sloka number 32. Yes. Hare Krishna, the screen is visible comfortably for everyone. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. Third canto, 24th verse, 24th chapter, 32nd verse. Tvam suribhi statva bubutsa yada. Tvam suribhi statva bubutsa yada. Sada bivada arhana padapitam. Sada bivada arhana padapitam. Aishwarya vairagya yashovabodha. Aishwarya vairagya yashovabodha. Virya Sri Purtam aham prapadye. Virya Sriya Purtam aham prapadye. Tvam suribhi tattva bubutsa sada vivada arhana padapitam. Aishwarya vairagya yashovabodha. Virya Sriya Purtam aham prapadye. Tvam suribhi statva sayadha sada vivada harana padapitam. Aishwarya vairagya yashovabodha. Virya Shriya Purtam aham prapadye. Tvam suribhi statva sayadha sada vivada arhana padapitam. Aishwarya vairagya yashovabodha. Virya Shriya Purtam aham prapadye. Word to word translation. Tvam, unto you, Surabhihi, by the great sages, Tattva, the absolute truth, Bubutsaya, with a desire to understand, Adha, certainly, Sada, always, Abhivada, of worshipful respects, Arhana, which are worthy, Pada, of your feet, Pitam, to the seat, Aishwarya, opulence, Vairagya, renunciation, Yashaha, fame, Avabodha, knowledge, Virya, strength, Shraya, with beauty, Purtam, who are full, Aham, I, Prapadye, surrender. Translation and purport by Jagat Guru A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the reservoir that always deserve to receive worshipful homage from all great sages eager to understand the absolute truth. You are full in opulence, renunciation, transcendental fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty, and therefore I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. Purport. Actually, those who are searching after the absolute truth must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship Him. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna advised Arjuna many times to surrender unto Him, especially at the end of the 9th chapter, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakta. If you want to be perfect, just always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your obeisances to me. In this way, you will understand me, the personality of Godhead, and ultimately you will come back to me, back to Godhead, back home. Why is it so? The Lord is always full in 6 opulences, as mentioned here in wealth, renunciation, fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty. The word Purtam means in full. No one can claim that all wealth belongs to him, but Krishna can claim it. Since he has full wealth, similarly, he is full in knowledge, renunciation, strength and beauty. He is full in everything, and no one can surpass him. Another one of Krishna's name is Asamordhava, which means that no one is equal to or greater than. Here the purport ends. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-njana-shalakaya Chashkurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschasya Deshatarine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Devapada Swami Niti Namine Namah Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripapadaya Gaurakata Dhamanaya Navaravana. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome once again for today's Bhagavatam class and verse 32, 24th chapter, 3rd canto. And we all know the 3rd canto is status quo, as I mentioned earlier. So this is just verification of already the creation and annihilation, which discussed in the 1st canto and 2nd canto. And the flow of this canto or the divisions of this canto we can understand. It's out of our scope for today's discussion, but it is better to recall what we have covered in this 3rd canto. And meeting of Uddhava and Vidura, and then pastimes of Lord Varaha, appearance and teachings of Lord Kapila, and then the marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti, and then Devahuti's lamentation, that is 23rd chapter. And then chapter 24 is the renunciation of Kardama Muni. That is what we are today. Today's chapter is the renunciation of Kardama Muni. And the next chapter and the flow goes like this: teachings of Lord Kapila to Devahuti. After Kardama left, Kapila stayed with mother. She inquired from him. So this is out of our scope for today's discussion. In today's chapter flow, it is like this: Lord Kapila appeared in Devahuti's womb. Brahma glorified Kardama and Devahuti. Marriage of 9 daughters. Kardama offered prayers to Kapila and renounced the world with Lord's permission. And particularly this verse, the previous verses, what we have discussed for connectivity to today's verse. So let me recall from the the flow of this renunciation of Kardama Muni started from Kardama instructs Devahuti, and then appearance of Lord Kapila in Devahuti's home. Then Brahma speaks to Kardama and Devahuti, and then departure of Brahma and marriage of 9 daughters, and then Kardama Muni's prayers to Lord Kapila. And today's connectivity is Kardama Muni's prayers to Lord Kapila. So what is this prayer? Another further, the flow for understanding is Kardama Muni approached the Lord in a solitary place and spoke. So Lord appeared and then, he spoke personally. And then Kardama offers his prayers to the Lord. So if Lord appears, immediately one, response to prayers. And then your appearance in my house without motive is because of your mercy only. Why? He's asking question. Why you appeared in my house? And the Devatas become pleased with their sinful worshippers only after a long time. Even the yogis get to see your impersonal feature only after perfect solitary meditation for many births. This is a position of others, other than devotees. And then, but you, the Supreme Lord, have appeared in our house today in spite of our neglect in worshipping you. So this is the humbleness of a devotee. And then purpose of Kapila's descent to make your words. I will appear in your house as your son. True, desiring to spread the knowledge of Sankhya, desiring to spread the knowledge of Sankhya and to increase the honor of devotees. So this is the reply from the Lord. And today's discussion is glories of Lord's transcendental and pleasing form and Kardama's surrender to the form of the Lord. And the previous verse, discussed, though you have appeared in this human form, this is perfectly transcendental and is very pleasing to the devotees. So that was the previous verse. And today's verse, we can relate. I surrendered to this form of yours because you are full of 6 opulences and your feet are constantly worthy of worship by the devotees, desiring direct knowledge of the absolute truth. So this is the mood of Kardama Muni. And then once again, I'd like to read today's purport. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the reservoir that always deserves to homage from all great saints, eager to understand absolute truth. You are full in opulence, like Parasar Muni mentioned. Renunciation, opulences like renunciation, transcendental, fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty. And therefore, I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. So here the surrender being mentioned, most prominent object of today's verse. Even there are so many pastimes which we know how Kunti Maharani surrendered to the Lord, and then how Prahlad Maharaj, Patu Maharaj, and then Arjuna, and how everybody surrendered to the Lord. Then they attain the liberation and they attain the love of Godhead. So likewise, even in Kali Yuga, such an opportunity, but only thing is, due to a lot of baggage, we are not getting into that. So that is a real problem. And this for surrender, the couple of things from Sri Bhagavad Gita, like in the purport it is mentioned, Manmana Bhavan Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Yevai Shashi Satyam Te Pratijane Prayo Si me. Always think of me and become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So without surrender, one could not go to the stage of always think of Lord and without belief, one cannot become a devotee, and without worshipping, one could not purify, the progress. And only the surrendered soul will come to me without fail. And I promise this because you are very dear friend and my devotee. So this is assurance, given by the Lord. But even though, due to our baggage, we never surrender to the Lord. So, but a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitute the most confidential part of knowledge, and this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. So this knowledge is there everywhere, but without surrender, one could not get that knowledge. The surrender means how much strong, the surrender should be. Like Sri Sampradaya is a pastimes, Guru and Shishya. Once, there was a king name called Krimikanta in a Kanchipuram. So due to some group of impersonalist, influence, he could not tolerate, the fame and the lords as well as Ramanujacharyas, spreading all across the globe. Then he had a plan, to kill, this philosophy could not, or this parampara should not progress like that. With ill-minded, due to association with some Mayavadi group, this king, decided to have some, ill motive, and he invited Ramanujacharya for, his assembly, and he instructed all, this guru, the assembly of, so-called, the gurus, and he gave an instruction, we have to defeat him, with respect to philosophy and everything like that. Then, with this cunning, intention, they all approached, Ramanujacharya. And Ramanujacharya's one of the disciple, his name is, Qureshi. So he is so, surrendered to his guru, and even Prabhupada mentions in many places, without surrendering to Guru, surrendering to Guru is as equivalent to surrendering to the Lord. The Lord himself confirmed that. So he is in the mood of, surrendering to the Guru, and then he understood, the Grahastha Qureshi understood the ill motive of, that group of people and, the king. And then what happened, when those people approached Sripad Ramanujacharya, then he begged, his, appeal or request, please you don't, participate in this assembly because their motive is different. Please give your, dress, the sannyasa attire. So let me wear, though I am a grahastha, so please give me this service to me. So he knows, the Quraishi knows, it is too risky that, going there and taking a risk in front of such a situation. So even in some places, Prabhupada quoted the mood of, Nityananda Vamsa. So the Nityananda Vamsa, it is mentioned in many places when Prabhupada gave in many of his Bhagavatam lectures. He mentioned that the one who takes the extreme risk to spread this, God consciousness, or to protect the devotees, some action, going to the extreme like Jagai Madai mood, the Jagai Madai, what they have done, with Nityananda Prabhu. So they hit him, like so like mad elephant. So they don't have conscience. They're fully drunkards, and they have beaten him, and totally the blood is bleeding like anything. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the extreme that to take the Sudarshan Chakra and to destroy these two demonic people. Then Nityananda Prabhu pleased the Lord, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also understood in Kali Yuga it is very difficult uh, to spread this absolute truth about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then the Lord controlled himself, and then see the point what I'm trying to bring out here. The Nityananda Vamsa means the one who is going not by the lineage or the birth or something like that, because Lord Nityananda's son he did not get married actually, even lineage, or there are followers, no doubt about it. They claim that Nityananda Vamsa, but actually Prabhupada mentioned Nityananda Vamsa means the one who is going to the extreme risk to spread this Krishna consciousness, that lineage or that such activity or such a people could be considered as a Nityananda Vamsa. So connecting to this, Sripad Ramanujacharya's pastime, and this, the sincere devotee Qureshi, and took, the attire of, the sannyasi, Ramanujacharya's dress, and he gave his grasta dress, to Sripad Ramanujacharya, and they all went to the assembly of this cunning, evil-minded king name called Krimikanta. So then initially, he greeted with respect, and then he welcomed, thinking that Qureshi is the Sripad Ramanujacharya, and then he welcomed. In the meanwhile, all the Brahmanas or those who are assembled in the assembly, they started, some probing philosophical stuff, but Qureshi defeated each and every Brahmana in the assembly, or each and every so-called learned scholars in the assembly. He defeated everyone. Then he could not tolerate, that king could not tolerate their people defeat. Then immediately he ordered to plug his eyes with very hot iron rod, and they are done also. Then after that incident, they plugged his eyes, and somehow, they came out of that assembly, and they came to, Kanchi, Varadaraja Perumal. So they came back, and even he got a book. He can speak to the Lord directly. When his Qureshi and Sripad Ramanujacharya, see, his heart become so weight, and he could not tolerate for the devotees this position. And when he was praying to the Lord, Varadaraja Perumal, then Ramanujacharya, Sripad Ramanujacharya told him, instructed him, and asked him to get back his eyes. But his mood is to please everyone. Even that king will definitely go to the hell. First he asked so because of his ill motive, this is the pure devotee's mood. He requested, please don't take him to hell, rather take him to the hell. Let him get the liberation like that. He pleased. Finally he his guru requested, and then his devotee Qureshi also requested. Then finally he got back his eyes. One of the lecture I heard, not this physical or the material eyes. Then he has got, through his guru's eyes, he got the darshan of the Lord from his heart. So that is the beauty of the surrender. One could have such a elevated mood of such a surrender. Then through Guru's eyes, he saw the Lord. So that is the beauty of the surrender and pastimes of Sripad Ramanuja. Ramanujacharya. That is a greatness actually. And also Krishna's told, Sarva Dharman Pariteja Mamekam Charanam Vija. So in many places, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, surrender, surrender, surrender. But due to our baggage, so much of contaminations with, this association with Maya, could not come out from all this stuff. And in Srila Prabhupada, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says, spiritual master feet are not different from my feet. In 11th canto, Krishna himself mentioned, right? In this purport, we can see, I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. So let us keep, the Krishna, a little bit, hold, and let us understand what Krishna says in 11th canto. So the spiritual master's feet are not different from my feet, and spiritual master is as equivalent to me. Who is telling? Not spiritual master. Krishna himself, says. But due to association with the Maya, many times, we will not have that realization. We may think, Guru is the ordinary person like that. Even it is mentioned in Manusmriti, the same. Even Jiva Goswami also mentioned, about lotus feet are very, very powerful. So one should surrender the lotus feet. So why again and again, lotus feet? So even we come to the material conception of life, this lotus honey, the lotus honey is the most, the tastiest honey in the world. So this is the analogy. In one of the purport also it is mentioned. See how among the honey, even the birds knows that the honey which is taken from the lotus is the most powerful. So even many of the doctors also curing some of the eye diseases with lotus honey. Even some of the heart diseases also with the lotus honey. So in one of the lecture I heard, it is so popular in New Zealand and Australia like that. So such a lotus feet, that is the reason it is being mentioned. Guru's lotus feet. Honey of a lotus feet is the best medicine, and also it is very costly. So that like that. So surrendering to the Guru's feet is not an ordinary thing. It will not come just like that. So with Lord's mercy, with Guru's mercy, that means the one will get a Guru with Lord's mercy. With Guru's mercy, one will get the mercy of the Lord. So even in material world, so even we can cure the disease of the eyes. Even so in the spiritual perception, it will, we can see the world, we can see the Lord through Guru's eyes, and we can we can purify even our heart. Through that process, we can see the Lord also. Like Kardama Muni, how he got the wordings from the Supreme Personality of Lord himself. There are many demons, challenged with the Lord, with respect to the surrender. Kamsa, Krishna told Kamsa to many times to surrender, but due to his demonic quality, he could not surrender. Even Lord Rama also mentioned many times about, the ill-minded Ravana. Rama also mentioned, many times about the surrender to him, but only he could not, relate. Even in our own case, in this, this Maya world, and we are so contaminated, and we are very unfortunate with respect to the surrender. We may have so many other, desires, like, let me do this, let me do that, let me take time, let me finish my, starting from, youthhood, let me finish my, education, let me finish so and so, so and so, so and so, like that. Keep on, we will ask excuse from the, following this path. And then the purpose of appearance of the Lord also a very curious aspect here. The very first is, Sankhya philosophy. So we all know the Sankhya philosophy is, not recommended actually, but it is needed, some purpose. What is that purpose means? There are various discussions on this matter about Sankhya. But basically, it is an analytical study about the body and the soul. So when we think about all this, Sankhya philosophy, at least one could, though they take more time, but at least one could progress and come up. So in various scriptures, it is emphasized about the surrender. And one of the reference from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 10.55. So the purport says, appreciating Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's favor, Bhavananda Raya also say, along with my home, riches, servants, and 5 sons, I surrender myself at your lotus feet. So here the point here it is mentioned, the purport. This is the process of surrender. As Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura sings, Manasa Deha Geha Yo Kichu Mora Arpilum Tuya Pade Nanda Kishora. So Saranagati. So when the meaning is, when one surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he does so with everything in his possession, his house, his body, his mind, and whatever else he possesses. If there is any obstruction to this surrendering process, one should immediately give it up without attachment. If one can surrender with all his family members, there is no need to take sannyasa. Here, I'm repeating, if one can surrender with all his family members, there is no need to take sannyasa. So for our family members who are progressing devotees like me, that person is ISKCON, that person is Krishna consciousness, for the entire house. So we should take, firmly this surrender. So however, if the surrendering process is hampered by so-called family members, one should immediately give them up to complete the surrendering process. So this is very heavy message, from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And the surrendering is mentioned in many places, and even Chaitanya Charitamrita in introduction, Adi Leela, in the introduction also it is mentioned. We say, oh, surrender, but I have so many responsibilities. And Maya, illusion, it's very important. Maya, illusion says to us, don't do it, or you will be out of my clutches. Just stay in my clutches and I will kick you. It is a fact that we are constantly being kicked by Maya, just as a male ass is kicked in the face by the she-ass when he comes for sex. Similarly, cats and dogs are always fighting and whining when they have sex. Even an elephant in the jungle is caught by the use of a trained she-elephant who leads him into the tricks of nature. Maya has many ways to entrap us, and her strongest shackle is the female. Of course, in actuality, we are neither male nor female, for those designations refer only to the outer dress, the body. We are all actually Krishna's servants. So until we come to the understanding of Krishna's servant and taking up this devotional service, surrendering the result to the Lord, till that particular time, the whatever we discussed here, like the Maya, how the donkeys, elephant, and cats and dogs trapped. We are also trapped like that. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu officially renounced his illusion at the age of 24. Although his wife was 16 and his mother 70, and he was the only male in the family. Although he was a Brahmana and was not rich, he took sannyasa, the renounced order of life, and thus intricated himself from family entanglement. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is an example. So Prabhupada quoted in the introduction to Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that is the understanding here. And then Hare Krishna. So this is all about, the surrender. And even in Srimad Bhagavatam also, we are coming across surrender. In fourth canto, 8th chapter, 46th sloka, also more emphasized about the surrender. Does anyone fully surrender? But the surrendering process is voluntary, and the Lord is worthy to accept surrender. So here the point what we are understanding is it is worthy, but only we should. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Looks like Prabhu's connection is gone. Seems to be.
Right, Krishna. Here I'm using a mobile data. Please accept, this disconnection. So, am I proper, Prabhu, now?
Yeah,
Hare
now it is okay. In fact, your connection was very bad earlier. I don't know.
Oh, is it?
Bandwidth was problem, I think.
Maybe, signal also problem. So I will, fine. Next time I'll connect with the laptop. Arrange. And thanks, Prabhu. We were talking about the surrender from Srimad Bhagavatam. So the most prominent example we can understand from Gajendra's prayers of surrender. So we all know we are helpless. So that should be the mood of a devotee. I have still that position. In the purport also we have seen. The purport we have seen that in the purport also we have seen we have we are possessing still this opulence, that opulence, like that. Still we have that things in our mind. No one can claim that all wealth belongs to him, but Krishna can claim it. We cannot claim that, but Krishna can claim that. Since he has full wealth, similarly, he is full in knowledge, renunciation, strength, and beauty. He is full. So that is a understanding here. And further, the examples from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned in the 8th canto. Abandon all variety of religion and just surrender to me, quoted in Bhagavad Gita. And then the Kali Yuga. So there are different, due to their helpless and pathetic condition, the living entities in Kali Yuga have great impetus to surrender. In Satyuga or other ages, the conditioned souls become disgusted with the kingdom of illusion and surrender. This status of full surrender is called pranam. Right? What is it? Paramam Shanti, or supreme peace. Until we surrender, we will not attain, the paramam Shanti life. So some of the Prabhupada's, quotes I would like to refer here for better understanding of, surrender. And as we mentioned, how Arjuna's surrender. he came to the conclusion that Karpanya dosho pata shubhava prachami tam dharma sammuda cheta Yashreyasha nishchitam bruhitan me shishyaste hamshadi mam tvam prapannam. So he told, I don't know what is, the helplessness. This is the right mood of a devotee. One could understand, the helplessness in this Kali Yuga, how we are, falsely claiming that, I am possessing this, I am possessing this, like that. Even one of the, pastimes of one of the Brahmana, so he about to, live in a very saintly place, and then he got an opportunity to go and serve somebody by feeding some food stuff, and then he was having so much of proud out of that, and that proudness also vanished by the Lord with one of his pastimes. So we are helpless, whether it is material or even spiritual, it is helpless. Even Bhakti Vinod Thakura says, accept whatever is favorable for devotion and reject everything that is inimical to devotion. There is no protector other than Krishna. Oh brother, Krishna will protect me. I offer myself and everything I possess to Krishna. I go through life with sincere humility. So this is the mood of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And even Prabhupada mentions in the translation of this, Vaishnava Tantra, accepting that which is favorable, rejecting the unfavorable, believing. These are the six types of saranagati. So what is the six limbs of the surrender? Is here it is mentioned in the Vaishnava Tantra. It is mentioned that accepting that which is favorable, rejecting the unfavorable, and then believing that Krishna will save me, accepting Krishna as one's maintainer, and then I will just give the order. The one is that which is accepting that which is favorable. That is first one, favorable to devotional service. And then number two, rejecting the unfavorable. And third one is believing that Krishna will save me. And fourth one is accepting Krishna as one's maintainer. And fifth one is self-surrender. And sixth one is humility. Humility are the six types of saranagati. So if one strongly holds this, and strongly even Prabhupada mentions many a times, hold my dhoti, I will take you all to Goloka Vrindavan. In this way, one should come to the stage of surrender. Otherwise, it never happens. As I mentioned, the Brahmana, the example, act of charity, and started to self-praise himself. I have done this charity, way. When he came to the temple also, he was in that mood only. He bowed down to the Lord and started offering prayers and started to offer fruits and flowers to the Lord. Lord, who is well aware that Brahmana's mind, smiled and started to speak. Brahmana was surprised that he could hear the deity speak, and carefully went near to the deity with folded hands, was listening. Lord said, "O Brahmana, why do you offer me fruits and flowers? Offer me something that is yours." Lord replied to him, "Something which you possess, you offer to me. You can take these fruits and flowers." Lord told. Then that Brahmana was surprised what to offer you, Lord. So he brought sweets, and then he like Lord mentioned, fruits and flowers he taken away. Then he kept some sweets and offering. Maybe I did some mistake. Then he gave thought whole night, questioning himself, what is that which belonged to me? So he was asking himself finally, but alas, he found out that his body is also made up of those five elements only. Then what is there to offer? Even our own body itself given by the Lord, even this material energy. He lost that false ego that he is the body. He ran to the temple, fell flat before the deity and said with tears, "Oh Lord, how foolish I have been to feel proud of those things which I don't even own. I have nothing to offer to you. I am nothing. All is yours. Even my body is given by you. My body, my senses, my mind, my intellect, even this ego, all are yours. I practically don't own anything. Oh Lord, I am so sorry. Out of pride of this body, I have felt I am a giver, and I felt proud that I am offering you something. You have opened my eyes to see today that I am nothing before you. I belong to you. My existence is all because of you. My false ego is broken and shattered into pieces. I am a part of you, and I am happy to be part of you." And this is the realization of a true devotee. But even though the progressing devotees like me, so these all are the big lessons to take it. And even Prabhupada, one of his lecture, he mentioned how much time it takes to surrender. Prabhupada says, just 1 second is enough to surrender. But coming to that stage is a challenge. So one needs, guru. And also the mood of a devotee, should be like this. Even with the power of Lord and Guru, the Guru gives the sword of knowledge to chop off all this material contamination, which spoils us and which takes us from the path of spiritual progress. With the assurance of the Lord, Sarvadharman Paritejya Mamekam Saranam Vijay. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksheshami Masucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So, but only thing, if my material opulence goes, what I can do. So, because see the Brahmana example, we have seen in front of the Lord, we are nothing. Even this eyelid one cannot shake without the sanction of the Lord. So this is the importance for the sharing of the surrender. And just for the recap, like one should aspire, as mentioned in the purport, always try to think of Lord, always try to become a devotee, and then always try to worship the Lord, and always try to pay the obeisances. And we should not claim, no one can claim that all wealth belongs to particular person. No, I am owning this beauty, all this like Parasarabni mentioned, this wealth, knowledge, enunciation, strength, beauty, all these 6 opulences. So we are nothing in front of the Lord. And another name of the Lord is Asamordhava, which means that no one is equal to or greater than him. We all know somebody, the demonic quality, Ravana, then Hiranyakashipu and Shishupala. What happened to all of them? So they claim that I'm more than you, I'm equivalent to you. So the one should, like the example from Sripad Ramanujacharya's disciple Qureshi, one should have such a strong surrender and devoted mood. Then one day God will appear to our eyes also, like how Sripad Ramanujacharya's disciples got that mercy, how Sripad Ramanujacharya himself got the mercy. In that mood, I'd like to stop here. If there are any sharings and corrections, you are most welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I just have one point. Thanks for the nice class. Just wanted to little bit explain on that on Sankhya philosophy. This Sankhya philosophy given by Kapila is the highest. Kapila Dev's Sankhya philosophy is not different from Krishna's philosophy of Bhakti Yoga.
Okay.
So these two are non-different. The original Sankhya philosophy is actually given by Kapila Dev, and that is what we are actually, we will be seeing this in Bhagavatam now. So this philosophy is completely Bhakti Yoga and most important. There is a poster Kapila who came and gave a philosophy in the name of Sankhya, and that also became popular. And that Sankhya philosophy is all fraud. And that has got nothing to do with the original Sankhya philosophy, what Kapila Dev expounded. And the other thing is this original philosophy of Kapila Dev on Sankhya is actually non-different from Krishna's Bhakti Yoga. So these two we should be very clear. And Sankhya philosophy sometimes is mentioned as analytical study of the body and soul and all that. But that is also not true. Because if you see the people generally get confused when we see this 2.40 where it is said that word Sankhya, like it's mentioned in 2.40 where is it? Yesa te abhihita Sankhye buddhi yogatve imam shruno. So in that Sankhya is used, and there Prabhupada is talking about that. But there what he's saying is here the word Sankhya is used to describe analytical study, but this Sankhya is not Kapila Deva Sankhya also. So sometimes we make, the Sankhya philosophy is analytical study, that is not important. But here the word Sankhya refers to analytical study in that verse 2.40. But he says this is also not that Sankhya that is being talked about. Prabhupada writes that. Therefore, this word Sankhya in that 240 is actually talking about analytical study, but original Sankhya philosophy is actually Bhakti Yoga only, non-different from what Krishna's Bhakti Yoga. And there's an imposter Sankhya philosophy also. So these 3 points we should be very clear, because we will be reading through Sankhya and going forward there. So it's very important. Hare Krishna.
Yes, so even after that, thanks for adding. It comes after the next clue about the Sankhya philosophy. Thanks, Krishna. Krishna devotees, if there are no more questions, then here we can stop for the day. So once again, thanks to temple management for giving me this opportunity. Folks, Mentor Vigramadhadas Prabhuji, and thanks for the opportunity. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.